Hello, my name is John Anderson. I'm the chairman and CEO of Triumph Gold Corp. Triumph is a gold and copper exploration and development company with a flagship property located in the Yukon territory of Canada. We have a district size scale property. District size scale, it's 200 square kilometers from one end to the other as it is today, and we're continuing to expand on that. We have excellent infrastructure, which I'll explain later with a map to show you what the importance of that is and where we are. But we're also in a fortunate situation right now. We have $4 million in cash. It's enough to do a program about twice as much as we did last year, but we expect to do something even more substantial. We've done a great job since taking over the company in 2016 of bringing physical or mental capital to the company. And I'll explain that through the development of the team that we've been building over the last 6 months on top of the standard team that we had beforehand. We also in a unique situation. We have a 2 million ounce gold and copper resource over 2 deposits on our property, and another third deposit, which is an epithermal high-grade vein system that we'll be talking about later on. As I said, I've taken over the company in 2016. We've basically changed over everyone and continuing to add on to it. Jesse Halley's been our VP of exploration for the last 5 years and has a great understanding of the property and what the opportunities are. A big change happened this year is when I acquired Brian Bauer as our lead director. Brian has quietly been building a technical team to assist Jesse and the company at developing and understanding the project on a larger scale and more advanced scale. Brian was responsible for developing the team that discovered the New Afton mine, as well as that team actually built the mine and operated. The New Afton mine is owned by New Gold today and is Canada's largest underground mine. The team that we have been put together, including Brian May and Marty Henning, were instrumental in that, and they've been working with us quietly in the last 6 months. And over the next 2 months, we'll have our exploration program put together for this year that will be, I think, pretty astounding. This is our report card and our share structure. Largest shareholder is Newmont Mining. They have just under 13%. They came in obviously in the acquisition of Gold Corp. They've been a fantastic shareholder, doing a lot more than just giving us capital to fund our projects, more so advising us a lot on the technical side. So they've been a great shareholder, as well as the Zijin mining fund out of Hong Kong. Institutionally, we're well supported. We've raised between $5 and $6 million each the last 5 years for doing exploration. As I said, we've got just under $5 million cash in the bank right now. You can see by the share chart that we've since taking over the company, we actually defied the bear market. In 2016, when we took the company over, we started getting rewarded in the market, obviously with financings, but also with more importantly with share appreciation based on discovery. Unfortunately, given what happened last year, with our exploration, taking a wildcat drill hole and not really explaining that properly, we've had a tough time recovering, but we're very confident how we're going to move forward. This is a picture of our property in the Yukon. It's relatively flat. I show this for a couple of reasons. It's very amenable to open pit mining, as well as underground block cave mining and placer mining. It's the only area of North America that was not glaciated in the last ice age 10,000 years ago. And because of that, we have one of the most robust copper and gold soil anomalies in North America, which I'll show you briefly. Project information, as I said, we're located structurally along what's called the Big Creek Fault, which is the controlling structure for a number of the big projects in Alaska and Yukon and in British Columbia. Most notably, near our property, we've got we're 30 kilometers from the very large 3 billion ton casino project that Western Copper has, as well as the coffee project that Newmont has just adjacent to that. Lots of different mineralization, which I'll briefly show you, and any technical people can follow up with us directly. We've done over 40,000 meters since 2017 to this where we are today, and prior to that, under former management, we have another 120,000 meters of drilling. So basically, 160,000 meters of data to come up with really robust deposits that we can talk about. This is a map of where we're located. We're 200 kilometers northwest of the capital of Whitehorse. I said we've got great infrastructure. This red line that goes all the way up through the center of the page is the Klondike Highway, goes past the town of Carmacks and up near the Minto Mine, which has been operating for over a decade. Our property is just off of that, and it's accessed by a government-maintained road that goes to the property and through the majority of our property. Those green dots are the 343-101 deposits that we have. And you can see this area is actually part of what's called the Resource Gateway project that the federal government's putting $320 million into. And most of that is being upgrading our road to a 2-lane 80-kilometer road, and then paying for 2/3 of the capital for the road that will go through the newly acquired property we have and right up to where the White Gold District is, most notably the casino deposit that Western Copper has, as well as Newmont's coffee project. This is a Google photo of our property that we've been working on. The two resources are this area, the revenue and the nucleus. And then, of course, we've got the Tinta deposit that has not been really worked on in the last couple of years. We did some work last year, but it's going to become a focus because of the high-grade epithermal nature of it and the historical data that we've uncovered recently. The main focus, again, has been up in this area of the nucleus and the revenue, 1 million ounces gold equivalent each. And that's primarily where the soil anomaly that I mentioned before. We have had some very great success on some of these other discovery holes that have been drilled, most notably the Irene epithermal vein and the Ridge. These sit on top of two large copper porphyries that have been drilled in the past, Stoddart and of course Cabin, which is raising a lot of eyebrows in the copper space. This is a geological map that was done by the Yukon government in 2017. It's the only work they did. And what it confirms is that we have this big controlling structure that goes through our property, road access. And it's the only area where you have the Big Creek Fault in North America separates into two different zones, and thus explains why we've got this giant soil anomaly. So the host rock, which was 140 million years ago, was penetrated 35 million years later, which caused all these high-grade mineralizations that is going to be the focus of our exploration. This is the soil anomaly that I mentioned. The gold, top one is the gold interpretation, while the pink is the copper interpretation of those same soils. That 1 million ounce gold equivalent nucleus deposit is this postage stamp on the far left, and then 4 kilometers to the east, you've got the revenue deposit. That's another 1 million ounces gold equivalent. We've been focusing our work outside of that in the last couple of years, not a big part of the resource. Most notably, we've got the Blue Sky Zone and the Wow Breccia, which are about 1.5 kilometers off of the revenue. So that's in adjacent to the resource. That's what's created a lot of excitement in the stock in the past. And I think when I show you these photos of why that is, you'll have a better understanding of it. This is that soil anomaly from west to east at 6 kilometers, as I mentioned, 4 mountain spurs with 4 placer creeks coming through it. The 1 million ounce nucleus epithermal deposit is over here in the far left, and then 4 kilometers over, you've got that 1 million ounce resource in the revenue. It is actually made up not of the low grade, that the resources actually are 1 gram equivalent or just under 1 gram equivalent. It's actually these high grade systems that come up, and we now have a great understanding of how they've come up and how to find them. Most notably with the Blue Sky Breccia and the Wow Breccia, as I said previously, they are a kilometer, more than a kilometer beyond the current resource, but they're superimposed on this slide just for simplicity. To put that in perspective of what we've got, when you've got the 1 million ounces here you can see that we've gone down. The best analogy for this is Wafi-Golpu, which is a project in Papua New Guinea. It is a 5.5 million ounce reserve, 20 million ounce indicated and inferred resource sitting below a 2 million ounce deposit, which is similar to what we have here. That was the main focus of exploration in the previous 3 years. We're now going to focus on the high grade system. This is the blue sky breccia that was behind that pit. It is very economic. We hit 95 meters, 1.5 grams gold, plus 0.2% copper. That's better than 1.5% copper equivalent. Below that, we hit the same type of grade. To put that in perspective, we do an open pit and then do an underground block cave. It's the side of a mountain. It would work very well. This compares very favorably to the Red Chris mine that Newcrest Mining just paid $800 million for 70% a year and a half ago, and then the New Afton mine, which is the largest underground block cave mine that's been operating for over a decade. We've got basically twice the gold grade and just a little bit less than the copper than New Afton, but we're at early stages on that. And then we have the Well Breccia, which was drilled beyond that 600 meters deep, a full kilometer deep. We came up with similar grade in this breccia pipe. And then what was really interesting, we hit the causative intrusion, or the side of the causative intrusion. That's the explosion. That is the higher grade, higher temperature, potassic altered rock that would have caused that excitement up top. So we know how to vector in on that. The reason we know that is because of a 3D inverse magnetic survey that we did, and we validated that survey. We've also got this Tinta Hill polymetallic deposit that was a former resource. It was actually worked on in the past by Placer Dome in 1975, and we've uncovered the old feasibility study that had a 300 million ton a day mill that was going to go in 1982 before the mining market globally collapsed. And that old feasibility was it was running a 1/4 ounce of gold and 5 ounces of silver and 5% zinc. And that was identified through 2 underground tunnels that were developed in 1981 and 82, and we're going to follow up this year on it. Exploration last year, what we want to do was validate this 3D inverse magnetic survey that we did by Mirror Geoscience. We did that and we successfully proved that model up. So that's going to give us a real good focus of what we're going to do this year. This is the 3D inverse magnetic survey. This is the 1 million ounce nucleus deposit over here. And then 4 kilometers, you've got the revenue pit. We've been drilling down below, and you can see by that photo that we've actually been very successful at identifying this. This 3D inverse magnetic survey done by Mirror Geoscience is recently been released, and we're obviously giving us great targets to follow up with either underground drilling or drilling from up above. This year we did test this model, and we hit it with ore grade, 75 meters of ore grade, shallow drilling target. This year we're obviously going to look for these big bodies that we've been able to identify. This is just confirmation of the visible gold and the gold oxide. This is the near the revenue pit right here. That's the diatrem and with the resource around it. We've gone obviously kilometers outside of that, proving up that 3D inverse magnetic survey, and think we have a world-class exploration target right here. And this is just the oxide core that we hit on basically at surface. This is the epithermal corridor that we've identified. It's well outside of the nucleus revenue area. It is 3.7 kilometers long. We drilled it in 2008, confirmed it again this summer with some shallow drilling. And we think this is one large 3.7 kilometer long corridor tied into some previously drilling from the 1970s. Everything we've been hitting has been multi-meters wide with multi-gram gold. And we think that this could be a fairly substantial multi-million ounce target that we're going to aggressively go after this year and next year. And this is just a picture of some of the core and the results that came with that. So that's essentially what Triumph Gold is. We've got other properties that are associated with the Freegold Mountain project that we've done very little work on, the Tad Toro and Big Creek properties. Most notably, we just acquired a substantial land package from Teck Resources that basically ties in our Tad Toro claims. So essentially, we have the controlling structure for the complete road accessibility for all claims going up to where the casino deposit is, with the exception of First Nations land. So we've got a lot of excitement with the greenfield exploration with these new properties, but a lot of brownfield and development opportunities. So thank you for your time. Really appreciate your interest in Triumph Gold Corp. Giveaways. We've got more than 2 million ounces gold equivalent sitting in the company. On a risk reward opportunity, we're trading less than $10 market cap per ounce, and know that we're going to be able to, I think, outperform the market as we start getting into this year's program. So thank you very much, and feel free to reach out anytime. Contacts are on the website. Thank you again.